Good afternoon. Welcome all to this webinar. My name is Abhay. I'm the VP Engineering for this IUDX program unit, and I'm here to talk about India Urban Data Exchange. That's a full form for IUDX. As Alberto has mentioned, like IUDX has entered into a partnership with FIWARE Foundation. Very excited to be part of this partnership, as well as we are also going to participate in the smart data models initiative. And as you will see through the presentation, that these are very natural to have this alignment, because our principles are very aligned, and I think it's as I said, very excited to be part of this, and hopefully we bring the common benefits to everyone. Yeah. So as you know, India Smart City Mission India, it is responsible for fast tracking the adoption of smart cities into India, and it's a very it's a very ambitious project which fast tracks close to 100 cities into this digital initiative, and more are going to participate into that. So Smart Cities Mission and Indian Institute of Science came together to build and conceptualize IUDX, which is actually, at the end of it, it's a open data exchange platform. The goal is that controlled and secure any-to-any exchange of all forms of public and privately owned non-personal data. So it is slightly different from open data, that here there is a concept of authorization, there's a concept of consent. So it's data exchange overlaid with this consent framework. On the picture it's shown, it's basically a data exchange layer. We have three typical components in it. There is a resource server, which is going to serve the data. There is a consent server, which actually works with the access controls, takes those kind of decisions, and catalog server, which helps in discovery and also presentation of metadata about the resources. I'm going to talk a little bit about these later. But the idea is that various types of public and private data. So public could be camera data, or say AQM sensor data, and private could be data from, say, cab aggregators or maybe telecom companies, which they want to make available for various applications. So there is this concept of data providers, which is at the lowest layer, and the applications which are going to be the data consumers. And the data is going to be served in a seamless fashion using standardized APIs and open data models, and that's what I meant by that. It's a very natural alignment with the general principles of, let's say, FIWARE Foundation, as well as I think the Smart Data Model Initiative. It's a collaborative effort. Till now, we have had participation from government, industry, academia, and many communities. It's we are again, all our development has been open source, based on completely open source projects, and all our code is also freely available. There is also a notion of governance, policy, and economics, data economics, that I think this framework is going to sit along with IUDX, which is currently being developed in India's context. Now, here is the important, and I think this is the stuff which we are very excited about, is that we are already there in 3 cities. We're going to be deployed in 10 cities by this March, and our charter for next 2 years is actually going to be 60 cities. So we'll have lots of data to look into, lots of data models, and hopefully lots and lots of use cases to work with. In general, just wanted to quickly say that, yeah, I mean, data space, we work on this concept of data space, which is enabled by IUDX. The data space will have, as usual, the data coming in, and then there will be an app ecosystem for a given data space, which will lead to some kind of insights, dashboards, analytics, right? And it will also sit along with the data policy and economics framework, which should feed into the IUDX, because that is where this authorization, like who's allowed to serve data to whom, and those kind of things, those kind of questions will be answered by data policy and economics, and that has to be incorporated into the policies, the data sharing policies that IUDX addresses. And of course, along with it, we'll also be setting some kind of, the data models for that given space. The best practice is use case templates for a given data space. So currently, we are focusing on, as I said, on smart cities, that is urban governance data space. But we're really working very hard, as well as I think we are in alignment with other government bodies to see if the same concept of data space can be actually moved into different verticals and even like different areas, which may or may not be part of smart cities as such, but then, for example, agriculture, industrial, healthcare. So again, I mean, the initial response has been good, and then let's see how it goes. But then I think there's a lot of scope of, again, building the same kind of data models in all these various domains. Moving on, I think the broad ecosystem benefit is fairly clear, I guess. The city administration, for them, most important thing is basically sustainable and sustainable smart cities management, reduce development cost, and basically also make use of the innovation available from industry. And that is possible because, again, because of this open APIs and data models principles, right? Avoid vendor lock-ins. Citizens is clear because, again, more applications, more people are able to participate, make use of this data, more apps will come their way, which will be useful. For data providers itself, there's a huge benefit because, because yes, they're able to share that they're able to share the data, which again, multiple people will be. They don't have to really share just the insights, the raw data, which can be made use by other applications, and I think it's useful for them. And eventually, it should lead to some kind of economy, data economy, and then that will be useful. That's a big motivation for data providers also. Industry startup app ecosystem, definitely. I mean, this is one of the key stakeholders for us, that it should be easier for them to get data, to use the data, understand the data. And I think that is where this, again, can't emphasize enough, open and standard APIs and data models plays. And that's why I think our participation in this smart data model initiative is really important. And I think it will be very useful. We are able to make use of the data models existing, which are already existing, and not only that, we are able to contribute so that various people are able to actually participate in this app development. Yes, academia, research and development, I think more data available to them is also good. Yeah. So this is something that I just wanted to share, a quick thing that IUDX, as I said, as an open data exchange, we are deployed in 3 cities. We are going to be in 10 cities by March 21st. We will be in 20 cities by the end of next year, and another 25. So this is the current charter, but I think we are really excited, and we think we will be able to really get into a lot of cities. And along with it, we will be bringing some tools, use cases, and analytics, for which IUDX is going to be working with partners, industry, and I think that is where all our standardization kind of efforts make a lot of sense, right? So again, I think this is just a roadmap, but I think we are already starting to see that cities are excited, and they do see the benefits. Of course, the most important thing would be to be able to showcase that value to them, and that depends upon a lot of factors. And I think we are working towards actually getting a active ecosystem built around IUDX, which can actually bring in a lot of value. Yeah. So Some of the use cases that I think, again, as I said, as cities have shown a lot of interest, and we are working on some of them. Of course, it also depends upon the data that is available. But for example, transit data is available, and one of the cases, multimodal transport app. And I think, as you can see, that there is a diversity of data and rail data, the metro, bus, BRTS is a rapid transport system, taxi, rideshare, e-bike, and you can see that all this data is again coming from actually quite different domains, and they have their own. I think it will be very good to put out data models for all this data, and I think that way, then I think then some applications will be able to make use of these things. The impact is very clear, I think. Convenience to citizens, definitely increased ridership, and that is why I think a lot of these providers will also participate in it, because it helps them also to create value and cover up for their investments, right? So yes, I mean, I think this is again a typical use case I wanted to discuss, where again, very diverse type of data will come, and I think it will be really interesting to see the data models published for that and being used by various vendors, various data providers, and various applications across multiple cities, right? The important thing here is that we want to do a lot of hard work for one city, but then it should be portable across multiple cities, and that's where the advantage of IUDX is. Yes, green corridors. I think this is also important, especially in Indian urban scenarios where yes, there are a lot of traffic snarls, and I think again, as you can see, basically the idea is that we give for a given ambulance, for an emergency vehicle, we give a green corridor. So a lot of different type of data will be used in this use case. Very diverse data coming in from different domains. So all of this has to be again put down into our open data, like Smart Data Model Initiative. Will publish all these data models, and then again it will be available for people to use. But again, this is also a very interesting use case. As I said, lots of different types of data sets, like transit data is required, maps, static maps, right? Then there will be a traffic light, and traffic light there will be cameras, so ITMS kind of information will be there. Then similarly, some information about the hospitals and different kind of so all this is again very diverse kind of data, and that would be very useful. Now again, these are some another use cases where for a city, I think it brings in efficiency and cost advantage, right? So one is this ICCC centers can actually work on open data exchanges, and I think overall our estimate is that it may lead to like 15 to 20% of cost optimizations for them. The key here is that there should be a close collaboration with industry ecosystem, and innovative business and revenue model is the key. And I think to drive all that, again, I cannot emphasize enough, all this will be driven by these basic principles of, again, open APIs and data models. So again, current deployment, we are deployed in 3 cities in India: Pune, Varanasi, and Surat, pretty big cities. And in Surat, we have, for example, data sets like bus transit data, live locations, then automatic fare collection data. There's also some solid waste management data. And we're working on a mobility use case there. In Pune, for example, we have some data like AQM sensor data, flood sensor data, and I think a flood prediction use case is being worked out there. There's weather data. In Varanasi, we have again live locations for garbage trucks, garbage collection trucks, solid waste management data is there. The bin collection data, the waste bins, live updates. AQM sensor data, crowdsourcing issue reporting data. So this just, I mean, we just got live 1 month back, But I think more and more you'll start seeing more and more data, different types of data on our platform. Yeah. So as I said, we are already engaged with 6 more cities, and hopefully by end of March we are actually live in those cities too. Again, just wanted to quickly get into the 3 things that, okay, so what is a product? What is IUDX as a product, right? It's basically a cloud-based system with prepackaged tools and templates, open source. There will be a portfolio of connectors, adapters to bring up IUDX very quickly. We are able to go live very fast as long as we understand what data has to be brought in. There will be tools to support city officials. I mean, initially it will be more like visualization, tools to provide authorizations and things like that. And as I mentioned before, it is fully open source. It is aligned with the global standards. I will come back to this a little bit. As far as our resource server is concerned, the data is served. The data access APIs are aligned with that CNGSI LD APIs. Partnerships, as I said, we are funded by Ministry of Home and Urban Affairs. Omidyar Networks is one of the private partners who are keen in analyzing this data, other aspects about data like privacy, non-personal data aspects, and even data economics. And we have very good alignment with other departments who are interested in adoption of this standard, maybe for other verticals like MITI and NITI Aayog. We are also making a consortium. There's already a consortium in place of leading industry players. And again, this will play a lot of role in actually bringing, again, as I said, help deliver value, the data value from the data, provide solutions, and also provide some kind of leadership, technical leadership as to where we are going in the coming years, right? And as I said, we recently announced a partnership with FIWARE Foundation, and we are also starting to participate in Smart Data Models Initiative. In terms of how do we go and deploy in different cities, currently we have a dedicated team for city engagement and deployment. And we evaluate different cities, and we evaluate what's the readiness of the city, what kind of data is available, and we have a proper process for all that. And then the same team actually catalyzes, works with the startup ecosystem and bring in industry collaboration to the cities based on the use cases the cities define. We work very closely with cities to define the use cases. And then I think we are going to definitely go also to do a lot of datathons and hackathons to generate new innovative ideas for, again, bringing various solutions, ideas for different problems that cities are facing. Okay, so just I think a couple of slides to just tell a little bit more. As I said, we have, this is a framework that enables exchange of data with consent. We concentrate mainly on non-personal data. There are 2 key stakeholders we address, which is the data providers and data consumers. And there are 3 basic services, which means 3 basic sets of APIs that we present. These are open APIs. So one of the services is the catalog services, which enables discovery of data sources by app developers. It's not only discovery, it also provides a lot of other meta information. Using catalog, one can find out exactly understand the data also, that what exactly formats of the data, units of the data, like, I mean, we put down the data models into the catalog. And then there is an authorization server. It helps, there are 2 main things there. A provider can set policies as to who can control, who can get the data. And similarly, the consumers can get tokens if the consent is given to them. And also it helps in token introspections, means a resource server needs to connect to authorization to see whether a given consumer is allowed to access data or not. Underlying all this is, again, standard and open APIs. For the data access, as I said before, we are fully conforming to the NGSI LD, and I think for catalog and authorization, we again have published our APIs, right? And as I said, also there is a need, and I mean, I think as a design principle for us for adoption of data models, and hence our participation in the smart data model initiatives. So at the end of the day, seamless connection between data sources and solution providers, so that the value of data can be extracted. These are some of the design principles. Again, I would just quickly put it through. Open APIs, data models, fairly understandable, consent driven, because again, we wanted to keep the privacy part, like we wanted to keep like there are a lot of players which we found within smart city data ecosystem providers who are not ready to share data with public, but they're ready to share data with some targeted solution developers, app developers, and that's why consent has to be brought in. Secure by design implementation principles. Minimalistic means that we don't want to go ahead and over-design the system. We want to keep as much inclusivity as possible, that is, multiple solution providers can actually participate in it. Therefore, our APIs are pretty generic and they are broad-based. They're not like going into domain-specific APIs and stuff like that. Open source, I've already mentioned. Yes, we always target cloud deployments and cloud agnostic. We are cloud agnostic, but yes, the system is ready for cloud deployments, stuff like that. So I think just want to summarize. IUDX is a data exchange service that hosts and manages meta information, facilitates exchange of data, supporting NGSI LDs, which is in our resource server, facilitates authentication, authorization, and accounting mechanisms, which is taken care by the auth service APIs, defines two main participants, data providers, data consumers, and it defines basically the flow of information between these various entities, that is providers, consumers, and catalog, consumers and resource servers, providers, consumers, resource servers, interactions with authorization servers. And finally, it leverages on common data models, and that is where we are participating in our Smart Data Models initiative to achieve full interoperability of data, and also leads to more and more adoption, like more participation of application developers to bring in some exciting solutions to our smart cities. So I think I'll stop there. I'll take any questions. Yes.